Today we explore the realm of the Romans, the land of Slavs with a Norse name, one of Africa's fastest developing nations, and a bunch of beautiful island nations. This might turn out to be an interesting episode, so stick around as I explain the names of the next 7 countries from around the world. Our first stop today is in Romania. In case you didn't know, this is my home country. The short version of what Romania means is simple. It's Roman realm or Roman land. You see, back in the days of the Roman Empire, a good chunk of today's Romania came under the control of Rome. The locals, the Dacian people, got Romanized, and that is how the Romanian nation was born. During medieval times, the exonym for this nation was Wallachia. However, in most documents of the time, it is noted that the locals did call themselves Romanians in the forms of român, român, romeu, or rumen. As for the actual word, which is sourced from the city of Rome, well, the debate is ongoing. Of course, we all know the myth of Romulus, founder and first king of Rome, but that is just a legend. The actual etymology is unknown. It might come from an archaic name for the river Tiber, Rumon, with the same root as the Greek reo or Latin ruo, meaning flow. Or it might be an Etruscan word, ruma, meaning teat, a possible reference to the legendary wolf that adopted and suckled Romulus and his brother Remus. There's also the Greek word rome, which means strength. Now let's look a bit towards the east, where we find the absolute biggest country on earth, Russia. This term is a Greek adaptation from the Byzantine era. Rosia was the land of the Rus. The land of the Rus was a medieval state mostly inhabited by East Slavs, which is denoted by historians today as Kievan Rus. The thing is that Kievan Rus was established and ruled by a Varangian dynasty. Who were the Varangians, you ask? Vikings. They were Swedish Vikings. In fact, they were the ones who established states in this area of Europe, and although clearly outnumbered by Slavic tribes, they became the elite of their societies. The Rus, the original ones, were Swedish merchants and, of course, warriors who relocated from across the Baltic Sea to found the Slavic states of today's Eastern Europe. The actual word is of Norse origin, rods, or the men who row, which makes sense, because rowing was the main method of navigating the rivers of the east to trade with or sack settlements. By the way, Finns, Estonians and other nations still call Sweden Ruotsi or Rutsi. Okay, with that being said, let's turn our attention to Rwanda, a small nation of the African continent. In short, the term Rwanda means big, as in a big country. The suffix anda or kwanda means to expand, and it refers to the Tutsi Muamis or kings who during pre-colonial times sought to expand their territory and influence. Eventually, the term extended to all speakers of Kinyarwanda, the native language of the country. Now we jump over the Atlantic all the way to the Caribbean. It is here that we find St. Kitts and Nevis, the smallest country in the Western Hemisphere. Yes, the smallest. Just 52,000 people live here in an area of only 261 square kilometers. The official name of the country is Saint Christopher and Nevis. Saint Christopher was named after the patron saint of travelers and of Columbus himself. Columbus was the first to spot the island in 1493, but of course disregarded the local designation, Liamuiga, or fertile land. Same goes for Nevis, which was called Owalie, meaning beautiful waters. Columbus called this island San Iago, giving the name San Cristobal to another island, but due to a mapping error, San Iago appeared as San Cristobal on basically all maps. Nevis was christened by Columbus as San Martin, but another Spanish term became much more popular. Nevis stems from Nuestra Señora de las Nieves, or Our Lady of the Snows, which is a reference to an old miracle story, a summertime snowfall on one of Rome's hills. The white clouds that constantly covered Nevis Peak reminded of this story, and thus the Spanish term was shortened to Nevis. A bit further to the south, we find another Caribbean paradise, St. Lucia. This island was named after Saint Lucia of Syracuse, a Christian martyr from the 3rd century AD. She was a Greco-Roman noblewoman who wanted to distribute her wealth to the poor. She was denounced by her betrothed and ordered to burn a sacrifice to the emperor's image. She refused, so she was killed by sword. Her feast day is on December 13, and that was the day some French sailors were shipwrecked on this particular island, which is why they named it after her. And we're still not done with the Caribbean. We still have St. Vincent and the Grenadines to explain. Again, it's Columbus who gave the name of St. Vincent, again disregarding the original name, which was Roumanian, the spirit of rainbows in the Caribs system of belief. St. Vincent is St. Vincent of Saragossa, who was a martyr also from the 3rd century AD. The man suffered a gruesome death because he refused to renounce his faith. He was stretched on the rack and his flesh torn with iron hooks. Then his wounds were rubbed with salt and he was burned alive upon a red-hot grill. Finally, he was cast into prison and laid on a floor scattered with broken pottery, where he died. His feast day is on January 22nd, which was the day Columbus spotted this island. The Grenadines refers to the Spanish city of Granada. To avoid confusions, the diminutive form of this name was used. That name itself comes from Arabic. Granada was under Moorish control and was called Garnata, which means Hill of Strangers. This was the Jewish quarter of Ilbira, and when that city was destroyed, Garnata became the main city. Believe it or not, we're still not done with island nations. This time we're going to one of the Pacific's lovely nations, Samoa. In this case, we're not sure how this name came to be. The most common explanation is that it's a compound from the words sa or sacred and moa or center. It could also have something to do with birds, as moa also means fowl, but used to denote a now extinct species of flightless birds. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Tell me what you think about it downstairs and do hit that subscribe button if you want to see more episodes. If you really enjoyed this, there's a Patreon page where you can support my work. I hope to see you next time. Bye.